Hello and a warm welcome to the show. I'm Sally Jasieńska and today we're going to talk about Japan, its art and culture. And we begin in the heart of Tokyo, where Polish culture is alive and well. A reporter went on an exciting adventure, uncovering the traces of Polish heritage in the Japanese capital. Join her as she explores the fascinating cultural blend in the land of the rising sun.
The bustling metropolis of Tokyo, boasting more than 14 million residents and filled with an endless sea of neon lights and an omnipresent sound of convenience store jingles, might seem like it could not be further removed from Warsaw. But you would be surprised to discover that just a short walk away from Ebisu station lies a hub of Polish culture. Founded in 2011, the Institute of Polish Culture hosts Chopin recitals, Polish art exhibitions, plays and more all year long. But the undisputed star of the program is the Festival of Polish Culture in Tokyo. The festival is a medley of traditional arts and crafts, live performances, and a one-of-a-kind opportunity to try some of Poland's most famous dishes. Participants can try bigos, pierogi, and even traditional Polish donuts.
I'm selling a beloved Polish treat, donuts. Japanese people love trying unusual foods, and since rose jam donuts are quite unusual, many people are buying them.
Meiko Sakamoto took an interest in making donuts after spending a year in Poland as part of her Polish language studies. Every year, a group of around 15 to 20 students at the Tokyo University of Foreign Studies embarks on the perilous journey with the aim of mastering the infamously difficult Polish language and gets to spend their final year as exchange students in Krakow. One of the graduates shared her experience of studying Polish in the country's second city.
I was surprised to see that Krakow has so many old buildings still surviving to this day, that you can live in a very old building or visit one as a tourist. All old buildings in Tokyo were destroyed and rebuilt as new. We have many earthquakes, so it can't be helped. Learning about Polish culture, I noticed that traditional Polish costumes are a bit similar to the Japanese kimono, in the way they use very intense and lively colors. I really like pierogi ruskie. They're filled with cheese you can't find in Japan and taste delicious.
To an untrained eye, the building behind me might seem like just another co-working space in central Tokyo. But in reality, this glass-covered building hosts a fine dining joint serving traditional Polish dishes with a unique, luxurious twist. Now, this just goes to show that even 8,500 kilometers away from Warsaw, you may still find unique tidbits of Polish culture, as long as you know where to look. For TVP World, from Tokyo, Gabriela Fesnak.
In Warsaw, where culinary traditions meet modern flavors, one Polish anthropologist is on a mission to bridge cultures through the art of ramen. Meet a passionate PhD student on a delicious quest to uncover the fascinating history and cultural roots of this iconic Japanese dish.
When it comes to Japanese cuisine, few dishes can rival the international popularity of this humble bowl of noodles, ramen. Originally a cheap, quick meal served at hole-in-the-wall eateries, ramen has evolved into a global culinary phenomenon, a beloved comfort food that crosses cultural boundaries. Ramen's more than a dish. It's a symbol of Japanese culture and identity. It reflects a fusion of culinary traditions and the adaptability of Japanese society. Interesting fact, in Japan, slurping noodles isn't frowned upon. It's actually encouraged. Why? It expresses enjoyment and is seen as a sign of appreciation toward the chef. Travelers from around the world come to experience authentic Japanese regional ramen flavors. Ramen has also permeated pop culture, featuring in literature, film, and anime. But ramen's popularity has long since crossed Japan's borders, and one could say, has taken over the restaurant scene and food culture of Europe, and of Poland in particular. Warsaw alone is home to dozens of Japanese ramen restaurants. Their number has grown rapidly as the dish became a favorite among Polish foodies. Marcin Wojtasik is one such example. For him, ramen is a life project. With 9 restaurants to his name and 2 books on the subject, Marcin isn't just a gourmet. He's a true ramen anthropologist. He is currently putting the finishing touches on his ramen-inspired PhD.
After my first visit in Japan, I completely fell in love in both in the Japanese culture and Japanese cuisine, especially. And I've learned a lot about Japanese cuisine in Japan. And here in Poland, I also met a lot of Japanese people and who teach me how to cook ramen.
In Warsaw, ramen has become the latest culinary fad. Mr. Wojtasik has observed that its appeal is widening.
For the first years, it was young people, educated, middle class, city middle class. But now it's changed. Ramen become more and more popular and recognizable among people. And I think in few years it will be as popular as sushi. It will be dish for everybody. Now it's our audience is a little limited, but it's. In a few years, I think it will be super popular, and it will be for everybody.
And it turns out that ramen is not as exotic to the Polish palate as one would think.
Ramen has something that is both exotic and familiar. So it is a Japanese soup. Of course, this exoticism is important, but it's also very similar to our Sunday rosu, and that's why people like it, noodle soup.
But no matter how good the broth is, the noodles are where it's at.
Noodles are super important. We have Japanese machines. We use Japanese flour and all the Japanese technique. It's super. It's produced in Poland, but it's super authentic, and it keeps Japanese quality.
Two culinary traditions, Polish and Japanese, united by the shared love of slurping noodles from a hot broth, both comforting and aspirational. Ramen has taken Poland's capital by storm.
Feliks Jasieński, known as Manga, was a key figure in Polish arts and culture at the turn of the 20th century. He was instrumental in promoting Japanese culture in Poland. Today, the Krakow Museum that bears his name continues to honor the vibrant richness of Japanese heritage. Take a look.
On Krakow's riverbank, opposite the monumental Wawel Castle, a remarkable building bearing the name Manga houses the largest collection of Japanese art in Central Europe. Manga was also the nickname of Feliks Jasieński, Poland's first Japanophile. In his lifetime, he collected over 12,000 works of Asian art, including thousands of iconic ukiyo-e woodblock prints. Ukiyo-e, which in Japan were considered a rather low form of art, made it to Europe in the 1850s. Works by Hokusai or Hiroshige gained influence among French post-impressionists. Young aristocrat Feliks Jasieński came to Paris as a student and quickly caught the bug of Japonism. Upon his return to Poland, he became an influential collector and art critic, first in Warsaw and later in Krakow.
The Polish young artists from the period of young Poland, it's very often inspired by the collection of Feliks Manga Jasieński.
Before passing away in the 1920s, Jasieński donated his collection to Krakow's National Museum. But that's not the end of the story. Under Nazi occupation, not a lot of culture was allowed. But the Germans did allow for an exhibition of ukiyo-e, since it came from Allied Japan. One particular young man was hungry for beauty amid the horrors of war and risked his life to see the exhibition.
This honorary Oscar to Andrzej Wajda.
The man was Andrzej Wajda. On that day, he fell in love with Japan for the rest of his life. You might know him as your favorite film director's favorite film director. But for Krakow's Manga Museum, he's like a godfather. Wajda often traveled across Japan, sketching in his little notebooks. And Japan clearly loved him back, as in 1987 he received the prestigious Kyoto Prize. And what did he do with the award?
He decided to build a Japanese house in Krakow.
The film director spent many years collecting funds, and the Manga Museum was finally created in 2007. Jasieński's collection can influence new generations.
I was always so much fascinated with the traditional Japanese art, such as ukiyo-e paintings, woodblocks, all the tradition.
My favorite from Japan is manga and anime. My brother introduced me to these styles of art.
When I was fascinated about the very difference of capturing the same beauty, comparing to our European art.
And so, the spirit of Feliks manga Jasieński lives on.
While the eyes of the world are on Osaka and Expo 2025, the Manga Museum in Krakow is shining a spotlight on contemporary Japanese art with its East-East exhibition. Let's hear what the featured artists themselves have to share about their work.
It's my first time in Poland, and I've been struck by how calm and generous everyone is. I read a bit about Polish history before I came. Not that I'm an expert, but I felt an immediate connection with this city. My piece, The Boat, reflects my own family's history, but it's also something more universal, something I hope resonates across cultures.
So the piece I'm presenting for East-East is called Bureau Clock, and it means a bubble clock. People used to measure the passage of time by flowing water. My work is much more about universal concepts. I have a musical practice that is influenced, that was born in the confluence of Eastern culture and Western culture.
Within these works that we see at Manga Museum, at the East exhibition, I've been using some of the traditional Japanese technique of the natural dyes, and the process I'm using is to take the plants and take the color out of the plants. So some plants I've been using for this artwork, they are also from Japan, like yomogi, for example. Some plants are coming from Poland or from European soil.
My work focuses on ecosystems, specifically non-human ones. That's the core of what I explore. I think both Polish and Japanese viewers can relate to it in a very similar way. It's where our experiences meet.
East-East encourages us to see that Japan need not remain a distant construct for Polish audiences. Through contemporary art, it becomes part of our shared history and our present.
And now it's time for our Culture Beats, a quick review of the latest from the world of art and culture. And we start off with a Japanese angle, unsurprisingly. Don't miss the Unseen Threads exhibition in Osaka. It is a stunning blend of Polish textile art and Japanese fashion, featuring unique kimonos and a captivating film about Polish and Japanese heroines. The exhibition opens on the last day of May. It's hosted as part of Expo 2025. Get ready for a musical masterpiece. Sinfonia Varsovia is building Poland's largest concert hall in Warsaw. Opening in 2030, it is set to hold 1,900 seats. A symphonic future awaits. Calling all the White Lotus fans, Amy Lou Wood, known for her bubbly role as Chelsea, is set to shine in the new Polish drama. The Idiots, directed by Małgorzata Szumowska and Michał Englert, dives into the captivating lives of Fyodor Dostoevsky and his second wife, Anna. Shooting starts next month. 2025 marks 20 years since the tragic death of famous Polish painter Zdzisław Beksiński. To mark the occasion, the National Museum in Wrocław has prepared an exhibition devoted to a lesser-known but extremely important aspect of his work, photography. And that's a wrap for this episode of Pulse of Culture. Thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for more here on TVP World.